This is OneWrestling.com, 24/7 wrestling news.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. I'm the Mark of the Masses, the man with the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some TNA today. And we're going to jump right into TNA Impact 11/15/2012. If you saw the last pay-per-view Turning Point, you know that Cowboy James Storm got the pin on AJ Styles. So AJ Styles is now out of the title picture. Totally dejected. What are they going to do with AJ Styles? I would like to know what you guys think. What are the plans? Well, we'll find out later tonight what the plans are kind of for the meantime. But what do you think are the long-term plans for AJ Styles? Now, I thought that it would have been a more interesting storyline if Bobby Roode were to be the one pinned and Cowboy James Storm winning. I thought that feud between him and Austin Aries, him and Jeff Hardy would be pretty good. But actually, I wanted Austin Aries to win that title match because I wanted to see Cowboy and Austin Aries. But anyway, nonetheless, it is what it is. What happened, happened. We're talking about today. And Cowboy James Storm comes to the ring and he starts cutting a promo thanking everybody from the fans to his family to the haters out there. He also basically told AJ Styles, sorry about your damn luck. Well, while he's talking in the ring, he's cut off by Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode comes down the ring with what we may have thought was a peace offering. 2 beers. Remember, they were beer money. One of the best tag teams in wrestling in years. But that's my opinion. I would like to know what you guys think. And he offers one to James Storm. And long story short, he gets under James Storm's skin. And James Storm attacks Bobby Roode after Bobby Roode basically stated that, you know, Cowboy's been riding his coattails, so on and so forth. Well, the one thing he said, and I'm going to actually take a look at my notes. Bobby Roode said to Cowboy James Storm, when Michaela, Cowboy's daughter, turns 18, then I will show her what a real man is. I would have punched him in the face. But that's just me being a father. Well, he was able to manipulate Cowboy James Storm into having a match for the #1 contender spot. So originally, Cowboy James Storm didn't want to have anything to do with this because he knows Bobby Roode always has something up his sleeve. But Bobby Roode, being the master manipulator that he is, was able to convince or to persuade Cowboy James Storm to give him a match. We're going to move on to the backstage, and we see the Aces and Eights. And the Aces and Eights are not happy with Doc. And they say that they're basically going to be voting on whether he is going to remain a member of Aces and Eights, which is very, very interesting. Devon then gets up after speaking to the vice president, takes that infamous dart, and throws it at that infamous board full of TNA superstars. We'll find out later who is the one who will be attacked, because basically Devon said that son of a deserves it. Well, we'll move on, and we'll see RVD, the X Division champion, versus Kid Cash, one of my favorites. And it was actually a pretty good match, short match. And match ended pretty much with RVD hitting the 5-star frog splash. He goes over 1, 2, 3. Backstage, we see ODB and Eric Young, the TNA power couple. And Eric Young is going over the fact that he killed some type of aquatic animal, and ODB, they're discussing how they celebrated their last win. And anyway, I don't want to think about that. But anyway, they are the new power couple, self-appointed power couple of TNA. So anyway, so we go in the back and we see Garrett Bischoff, Wes Briscoe, and Kurt Angle. Now, Garrett Bischoff wants to be Kurt Angle's tag team partner for tonight's match with the Aces and Eights. And Wes Briscoe really wants it. He's not a superstar yet. So Kurt Angle actually chooses not Wes Briscoe. He chooses Garrett Bischoff to be his tag team partner against the Aces and Eights. But he says he has big plans for Wes Briscoe. Now, I know they kind of have set who the individual members of the Aces and Eights are, and I know who they are. But wouldn't it be kind of a fun plot twist if maybe Kurt Angle was involved? You never know. It is wrestling. But we're going to move on. We're going to see Jesse Jesse, the TV reality star, versus one of my favorites, Eric Young, in a one-on-one match with their insignificant others in their corner, ODB and Tara. And actually, to my surprise, freaking Jesse wins the match. He hits Eric Young Eric Young gets tossed out of the ring after getting drop kicked, and Tara threw him back in the ring, and he hits him with kind of like a reverse Rick Rude neck breaker. If that makes any sense to you guys, you're gonna have to go on YouTube and take a look to see what I'm talking about. But he hits him with a inverted Rick Rude. Let's just call it a inverted Rick Rude neck breaker. And Jesse goes over Eric Young. Very interesting. So they're building this character up. I actually like Jesse. Obviously, he's very green in the ring, as they say. Or we'll just say he's a newbie. But I think he has a lot of charisma, the kid. Good look. So I would like to know what you guys think about Jesse. What would you do if you were booking the shows? Would you kind of, down the line, pull him away from Tara and have him kind of go on his own? I think Jesse actually may be something in wrestling. He's not horrible in the ring. I've seen a lot worse. I've seen a heck of a lot worse in the past. Well, anyway, we're going to move on to the TV title match between Samoa Joe and Magnus. And I was really excited to see this match. One of my favorite matches of the pay-per-view. I was really disappointed to see Joe go over Magnus, because I think Magnus has the potential to be a superstar at TNA. But as Magnus is coming down the aisle, guess what? The Aces and Eights attack. And DOC attacks with the ball-peen hammer. Well, Bully Ray comes in and makes the save, but a little too late because Magnus took a ball-peen hammer right to the leg. So now, what's going to happen? How long is Magnus going to be out? Another TNA superstar taken out by the Aces and Eights. Ladies and gentlemen, why are they doing this? I want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment below. Hit me up on Twitter at Big Ray Show. I want to know what you guys think. Where is this storyline, this Aces and Eights storyline, leading to? We all have ideas of who the leader is. We all have ideas on who we think is actually in the Aces and Eights. But why? What are they trying to do? Obviously, they're trying to take over TNA, but why? That's my question to you guys. So please leave a comment below on the YouTube, or go to onewrestling.com and leave a message on the board. So anyway, so we move on, and we have Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy's in the background, and he's getting a massage from who I actually thought was Dog the Bounty Hunter's wife. I swear, I was like, holy crap, that's Dog Bounty Hunter's wife giving Jeff Hardy a massage. But it wasn't. It was just another large blonde woman. And she was giving Jeff Hardy an oil massage in the back. And you have Austin Aries, and Austin Aries comes in, basically gives Jeff Hardy his props. Full props. But he basically says, it's not over. And then they do this whole slow motion Jeff Hardy. We're getting inside Jeff Hardy's mind and head. And I quote, Jeff Hardy says, in his mind, because apparently we can read his mind over the television. I don't know. But he says, you entered my dimension, not the world champion. You left my dimension, not the world champion. What dimension is Jeff Hardy in? I'm sorry. Well, anyway, we move on. And we have Garrett Bischoff and Kurt Angle versus Devon and the big, huge member of the Aces and Eights. And basically, it was a beat-em-up match. Angle ends up in a full Nelson by the big guy. And DOC comes in the ring with a ball-peen hammer. And he looks like he's about to attack. But out of nowhere, out of the blue, Wes Briscoe comes in with a big lead pipe and chases away DOC and the other members of the Aces and Eights that were around the ring. Man, maybe it's just me, but Wes Briscoe is a horrible... He can't hit a target. Well, Kurt Angle ends up hitting a low blow, or he kicks, your friend, our friend, the big guy, down there from behind. Anyway, hits him with a low blow, rolls him up for the 1, 2, 3. Kurt Angle and Garrett Bischoff go over the Aces and Eights. Now, you guys know that every week I've been trying to give you little hints as to who I think the members of the Aces and Eights are, who I know the members of the Aces and Eights are. But again, guys, just continue to leave me comments below. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Now, here is an interesting developing story, and kind of creepy, I think. But Tara is about to go into Brooke's office, and you see Bully Ray kind of fondling Brooke Hogan. What the hell? That's weird. But Tara's basically upset because Tara. And by the way, Bully Ray abruptly leaves. Anyway, so Tara's upset because apparently there's going to be a battle royal determining who the #1 contender for the Knockouts title will be. And Tara warns Brooke Hogan, hey, if you want a little privacy, lock your door. I'm sure TNA can afford good locks. But anyway, we move on to the Knockouts Battle Royal. We have Gail Kim, Madison Rayne, Mickie James, Tess Mocker, and ODB. And the woman who goes over is the woman who just comes back, Mickie James, back in the title hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about Mickie James? Mickie James was becoming a huge star at the WWE. I think ever since she's gone to TNA, she's kind of fallen by the wayside. And I don't mean her talents, because I think she's actually one of the best female wrestlers on the planet. But Mickie James, she doesn't have that star quality that she showed when she was in the WWE. Who do you think? My question to you this week is, who do you think would make a superstar knockout if they were to move from TNA to the WWE, or vice versa? But who do you think is the next female superstar? I'm mainly talking about TNA, but if you're gonna say a WWE woman, woman wrestler or personality, I take that too. But I want to know who you think is the next female superstar. Who's the next Trish Stratus? Anyway, we move on. And the #1 contender, obviously, is Mickie James. So now we have the aces and eights in the background, or in the backstage area, or in their clubhouse, or wherever the heck they are. And they have DOC, and it's a very, very serious situation where the vice president says, don't let the door hit you in the backside. So basically, Doc is out. And Doc slowly stands up, walks over to the door, and as he opens the door, one of the other members, a lighthearted portion of the show, one of the other members is holding up the vest, his colors, and they hand it back to him, and they start laughing. They start laughing and drinking beer, and I guess DOC, they play a prank on DOC. These killers, these evil killers, played a prank on one of their fellow members. We have AJ Styles. And again, this is really, really interesting. AJ Styles is going to be out of the world title picture. Doesn't mean he's going to be out of the tag team title picture. He was cutting a promo and he was basically crying and basically complaining over the fact that, he's had a crappy year. Everything from getting set up from that chick back in the day, from saying that the ex-drug addict, that she was supposedly pregnant, it was AJ's, and I don't know if you guys remember that, but anyway, it's been one hell of a year for AJ Styles. But while AJ Styles is sulking in his misery, two of my favorite guys, Kaz and Daniels, come down the ring, and they cut a promo, and they basically just trash him, and they say, look, man, you ain't got it no more. You're not AJ Styles anymore. This is what Daniels is saying. Kaz agrees, but then Daniels changes his mind because AJ Styles wants one more shot at Christopher Daniels. And if you go back in the day and watch some of the old NWA TNA stuff and some of the independent indie circuit stuff, AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels put together some of the best matches of all time. If they're going to do it one more time, I hope they go all out. This will last a couple of months, but what's going to happen afterwards? I want to know what you guys think, ladies and gentlemen. What is going to happen with AJ Styles after this whole feud is over? We have Austin Aries in the back, and Austin Aries says that he's going to push a couple of buttons next week, because next week is open fight night. Oh, by the way, they're going to have all the gut check winners come back. I'm actually very excited to see that. So, just an interesting little point. But Austin Aries makes a comment saying that he wants some answers. Answers to what? What does he want answers to? Does he want answers to who the aces and eights are? I don't know, but he says he's going to press some buttons and he's going to call somebody out next week at Open Fight Night. So we got to look out for that. Anyway, so we go to another section of the backstage area and we see Kurt Angle. And Kurt Angle appears really, really excited because he really wants Wes Briscoe to be on the TNA roster. He wants Wes Briscoe to try out for Gutcheck. Or, as JB would say, Gutcheck. Now, something's fishy, man. I got to be totally 100% honest with you. Something's fishy with the whole Kurt Angle thing. And what was funny was that, we had Bruce Pritchard who is trying to explain to him, look, there's certain protocols that we have to, follow, and there's certain things that we have to do before we let anyone try. But and Al Snow also was in agreement. But we have D'Lo Brown, and D'Lo Brown's like, oh, he's a blue chipper. Yeah, let's try it. Let's do it. Let's give him a chance. Something's up. I would like to know what you guys think is up. But anyway, we're gonna move on. And we're going to go to the main event of the evening, which was a pretty good match. And this match had a lot of implications on what was going to happen for the next couple of weeks. And Cowboy James Storm versus Bobby Roode. And I know they call Triple H the cerebral assassin in the WWE. But damn, Bobby Roode is a smart son of a gun. He is. And we go towards the end of the match where basically Cowboy James Storm has everything under control. And Cowboy James Storm is about to hit the last call super kick when Bobby Roode takes a referee and throws him in the way. Now, James Storm stops, but with an exposed turnbuckle in the corner, Bobby Roode takes Cowboy James Storm, smashes his head into the exposed turnbuckle, rolls him up, grabs the tights for the 1, 2, 3. Bobby Roode does it again. He's back in the title picture, ladies and gentlemen. Cowboy James Storm, sorry about your damn luck. Bobby Roode will be getting a title shot. So now what happens, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on with the aces and eights? I want to know what you guys think. If you guys were writing for TNA, what would you guys do with this storyline? Where is it going? And what the hell is going on with Brooke and Bully Ray? That's just weird. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I always say this. I would do this for a living, but if I can't, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling. You'll find me here every single week at onewrestling.com or YouTube /OneWrestlingVideo. Ladies and gentlemen, please follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show. Check out my friends, Lady B from the NYC, and also Bill Apter. The Godfather, Bill Apter. Check us out here at onewrestling.com, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see you next week for TNA Impact. Peace.